$2.45, right? $3.45. Okay. Hi, everyone. All right. Why is it confusing? What do you need to know, Edie? There's more than enough tutorials to teach you. And y'all need to use my link that I have provided. Please. We have a contest going on. Standing by, yeah. Good to see you. But you need to tell me what's confusing, Edie. It's so simple. We'll take some Tootsie Rolls. Get in line. No, I don't know what you're on because actually it's not. It's showing that right there. You're on the wrong channel. You're on the wrong channel. Just saying. Wrong channel. There's more than one NASA channel. My printer is ready. I need to go pick that up. Shittle's pocketbook is at her. Ooh, I didn't even touch anything and it just packed up. You see Randy, but can't get in there. Why? What? I mean, what happens when you click on it? Hey, John. Yeah. Yep. No, it's not in Huntsville. It's in Stennis. It's at Stennis, which is Mississippi. You have to verify your email address. That's one of the big things you have to do. Do I click your name? Hang on. Hang on. What do you mean click my name for? What do you? So, perhaps, if you follow me and you go on the feed, which is down below, see the feed? It's the feed. You should see us. Whoever you follow is live, right? And actually, one more is there. I'm there. Randy's there. And then you just click on that. For an example, one just went off. So for an example, you click on Randy and you just click on it and you'll go in there. Everyone's fine. I'm just popping this open, seeing it. They keep changing the time. Whoa, what the hell? Oh, oh my God. This lag has got to be. Oh, I can't see it. 1 minute and 54 seconds. They will be beginning. Hey, Pablo. How are you? Damn, Pablo, don't leave. There was something I was going to ask you or suggest. Oh my God, Colombia, what was it? I forgot. Uh, damn. No, this is the SLS, the Artemis rocket. So this is the SLS rocket booster that will be attached to the boosters here at Kennedy Space Center, the side boosters. So this is the last one. Then it comes here, and then we'll have a rocket flying. Oh, thank you. They're working on the delays, Mike. If you follow the HAPS teams or the HAPS community, they do weekly, they do daily stuff, but they do give updates a lot, which I missed the one yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to watch it. And they just did one, try and get everyone to use who is over in the Periscope community, Twitter, YouTube, use my link. The screen is crowded with coins, etc. It's not the same as Edie. You're gonna have to get used to that. If you can get to a computer, use a computer. If not, they're still making adjustments to the apps for better usability. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. Colombia. What were we gonna ask Pablo about? I forgot, and you reminded me the other day, and I didn't get to the Q&A. Full screen. I don't remember full screen. Oh, we're going live. I don't remember. Here we go. Let me make sure the volume's up over here. Volume's up. Let me go shut my television off.
We're looking at the historic defense complex at NASA's Kennedy Space Center, where we're about to do a second rerun hot fire test, firing up the fourth stage of our new Space Launch Systems rocket. Good afternoon. I'm Lee D'Angelo. This stage we're testing today will be part of the rocket, which will soon launch from NASA's Kennedy Space Center on the Artemis 1 mission. That launch will send an uncrewed Orion spacecraft beyond the moon and back to Earth. It's the first flight of the Artemis program, which will return American astronauts
my phone
to
is.
the moon and pave the way for exploration.
Don't want to shut it off.
Oh. The Space Launch System will be the most powerful rocket in the world, and is the only rocket that can send the Orion spacecraft, astronauts, and supplies safely beyond the moon in one launch. Now, we first tested this fourth stage on January 16th. That marked a major milestone, firing all four RS-25 engines together for the first time for about a minute. However, it ended earlier than planned.
Yes, it is.
So NASA and Boeing decided to do a second test. Teams have been working hard to get to this point, and the test countdown actually started a couple of days ago. Here to update us on where things stand is NASA Public Affairs Officer Catherine Hamilton and Headquarters Green Run Manager Bill Robel in one of our test control centers here. Catherine?
Thanks, Lee. We're inside a secondary test complex outside of the control room. and we're listening
Boy, their
in to
volume's
provide
down low,
updates
and I've got
on
everything
with
boosted
respect to
up.
this operation. We believe we're within about 45 minutes of the hot fire.
Wow.
The team actually started 2 days ago powering up the avionics on March 16th, and they checked out all the systems that they had tested on previous tests. Earlier this morning, they conducted a go-no-go poll to proceed into the test, and I have Bill Rubel here with me to tell us a little bit more. Bill, can you tell us about how the operations have progressed today?
Yeah, sure will. So at this point, we've been in kind of replenishment mode for both the liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. We've got at this point 540,000 gallons of liquid hydrogen on board, and another 200,000 gallons of liquid oxygen on board. And they're in the conditioning process right now, where we're trying to get that temperature down as low as we can, get it within the start box. And we're also doing the same thing on the engine side of things. And what's important about all of this is that, this timeline that we're going through
That's
here
cool.
will help inform the operations that will take place down at Kennedy Space Center, where not only do they have these things to worry about, but then they've also got to do things where they're getting people on board and taking care of all the other extraneous things that they have to do down there. So for us here, right, we've also been monitoring things like the battery charging. They're basically up to speed at this point. And then we've got the redundant inertial navigation unit wet checkout, which is basically mounted up in the lockstone area. And so they're looking to see how it behaves relative to the low temperatures that we're seeing now in that compartment. And so at this point too, the teams are basically looking at all their data, making sure that their systems are where they're supposed to be and ready to go for proceeding into the terminal.
Thanks, Bill. And can you tell us a bit how the timeline is different for today's test than for launch, and how is determining the time of hot fire different from setting the time for launch?
Yeah, so for us, it's actually we're in a pretty good spot. We're trying to at this point maximize the amount of commodities that we've got here in the test facility. So we're playing a little bit of a game where we've got crews that have been on for a number of hours, and 12 hours roughly, they'll time out. We want to make sure that we don't have to end the operation any earlier than that, so we're really trying to maximize that. So they're in the process of working that with the nitrogen, helium, liquid oxygen, and liquid hydrogen. But the other part of it is, right, the beauty of us is we're in a test. We're not going anywhere today. And so we don't have a destination. Our destination is right here. And so the difference right at Kennedy is they've got the orbital mechanics, their destination as to where they're going to go. And so they have to work basically all those details in to their exact launch window. Our launch window is basically when we start the test, and it doesn't matter too much today. But they do have they've got a real time hack that they have to hit. So they'll have built-in holds into their process and procedures down there, and that'll inform them how they move through the next steps. We just unfortunately don't worry about that today.
Great, thanks. So that means that we don't have a specific hot fire target time right now at this moment, but we'll keep listening in and we'll provide updates. We do know that the test remains to be protected within the test window, and we believe we're within about 45 minutes. And so we'll continue to listen in here, and I'll turn it back to Lee.
Thanks, Catherine and Bill. And we will come back to you in just a few minutes, like you said, to take us all the way to the test, or sooner if you have any updates for us. We will be listening in, and I'll head right back to you if you do. Now, if you are just joining us, welcome. We're live at NASA's Stennis Space Center in Mississippi, and we're following the second green run hot fire test of the Space Launch System rocket's core stage. The core stage is the center core of the rocket that includes 2 propellant tanks and 4 RS-25 engines, miles of cables, all of the avionics, electronics, computers, the brains of the rocket, and all of the plumbing that work together to launch the rocket during the first 8 minutes of the mission. The green in Green Run refers to new, untested rocket hardware. So this is a comprehensive series of tests of all the core stage hardware for the SLS rocket to demonstrate it's ready for launch, culminating with today's hot fire. The core stage will power every SLS mission.
Amen
This
to
test is
that,
important
Mike.
Not just for Artemis 1, but for all future SLS launches as well. Those RS-25 engines are expected to fire up shortly here at Stennis Space Center. Before that happens, let's get a closer look at the Space Launch System rocket. Super heavy lift rocket and provides the foundation for human exploration and scientific missions to the moon, Mars, and beyond. Powered by 2 solid rocket boosters and 4 RS-25 engines, this rocket provides unprecedented power and capability, designed to reach 23 times the speed
Amen.
of sound and an altitude of more than 100 miles in just over 8 minutes, offering more energy, volume capacity, and payload mass than any rocket built today. Under the launch of
Hi, Peter.
Orion and the upper stage, and between 2 solid rocket boosters is the heart of every SLS configuration.
I tried to go. I wasn't approved for this. Only the large people got to go. The really
and storing 537,000
amazing
gallons of liquid hydrogen
people that do
and
this.
196,000 gallons of liquid oxygen. This is the world's largest core stage ever built. The core stage for Artemis 1 fires up for the first time at NASA's historic B-2 test stand.
Yes, it'll be
The core
shipped.
stage was designed by NASA's
It'll be
SLS
launched right
program
from my
at our
backyard.
Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
And Harry's.
Then built by lead contractor Boeing, using state-of-the-art manufacturing just down the road at NASA's Michoud Assembly Facility in my hometown, New Orleans. It includes engines manufactured by Aerojet Rocketdyne, with contributions from more than 1,100 large
Hey,
and
Debbie.
small businesses in 44 states. It was shipped up here to Stennis on the Pegasus barge in January of last year, and then installed on the B-2 test stand where you see it here today. Engineers then began activating the stage's components one by one and taking it through the series of tests that make up the green run over the past year. Each test built upon the previous one and added a little more complexity. So today's hot fire builds on all of that work for a full test of the entire integrated system that will simulate all parts of the core stage working together during launch.
New deluge system at Kennedy Space Center. They rebuilt that whole deluge
Today's test
system.
will take us from extreme cold to extreme hot as the team loads cryogenic or super cold propellants into the fuel tanks and then fires up the engines to drain the propellant from the tanks to simulate launch. Now, the hottest part of the test today will be those 4 RS-25 engines at the bottom of the core stage. These RS-25s we are testing today are repurposed from the shuttle program.
No, we need
These
some
4
gimbal.
engines flew on some pretty iconic shuttle missions, including one of the Hubble Space Telescope servicing missions, the historic return to space of Mercury astronaut and Senator John Glenn, 6 flights to the space station, and the final shuttle space mission in 2011. So you can trace a direct line from that final shuttle flight to the first flight of SLS. We've worked with our partners at Aerojet Rocketdyne to upgrade the 16 shuttle main engines, which will power the first 4 Artemis flights. And now we're building 24 new engines using 3D printing and other manufacturing innovations to reduce cost, complexity, and manufacturing time. Of course, all of this work is building towards that Artemis 1 launch.
I want that
at
jacket.
Space Center later this year. Here's a closer look at that mission and how it paves the way for future exploration beyond.
3, 2, 1, 0. Mission.
Yes.
Artemis 1 will lift off from Launch Pad 39B at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida with 8.8 million pounds of thrust provided by the most
We're going to
powerful
feel
rocket
that
the
in
world,
Titusville.
Launch System rocket, or SLS. The uncrewed flight will be the first integrated test of SLS, our new Orion spacecraft, and exploration ground systems at Kennedy. Artemis 1 will send Orion beyond the moon, 280,000 miles from Earth, farther than any human spacecraft has ever flown.
This is not NASA doing this. This is the United States of America doing this program, the Artemis program. And there are companies all across our country that have a part in it. So there is kind of this wave of excitement being generated just by saying we're going back to the moon.
After the upper stage of the rocket separates from Orion,
4.
the upper stage will deploy small satellites over several days to perform science experiments and technology demonstrations. Orion will make its multi-day outbound trip to the moon, propelled by a service module provided by the European Space Agency. Engineers will test Orion's systems on the way to the moon. Then, Orion will fly about 60 miles above the lunar surface, using the moon's gravity and engines on the surface module to enter a lunar orbit. After about a month and a total distance of over 1,000,000 miles, Orion will return home, faster and hotter than any spacecraft has before. A primary goal of Artemis 1, ensure Orion safely returns to Earth before we fly with humans. When we do, we'll build our capability for sustainable lunar exploration, preparing us for missions farther into the solar system.
Initially, what we'd like to do is start establishing a presence on the moon. So we're going to establish going back there on a regular basis, and then we'll end up setting up a gateway, and we would launch to the gateway, and from gateway, land on the surface of the moon.
We are there for weeks, months on end. And there, we're going to be able to test out all the hardware, the habitats, and the hatches, and the suits and rovers that'll allow us to prove out those technologies.
Yep, 8 minutes. And we need the full test,
Mars, and we should be there,
or
within the next
close
couple
to the
decades.
full test. As long as we don't have valve issues.
Just amazing. And now we are going to hand things over to Catherine and Bill again in the control center. Catherine?
Thanks, Lee. We are in the secondary test control and outside the control room here listening in so that we can provide you an update. Bill, can you give us an update on how things are progressing?
Yeah, so they're in the process now of going through the final checks. Everything's really nicely going really great today. So everything's right on schedule, nominal. They're trying to do this thing.
Hey,
right
Hoots.
now is jump the clock. They're just trying to work it a little bit ahead. So they're in the process of resetting the clock and making sure that when you get to that 10-minute point that it doesn't continue to count down, because that's where they have to go to that pole well ahead of that. So they're working on setting that stuff up right now.
All right, so we'll continue to stand by and listen and provide updates. And as Lee mentioned earlier, the team previously conducted a hot fire test in January. The engines did shut down earlier than planned during that test, but the January 16th test successfully completed several operations.
You bought a
at
car.
time.
Ain't that place
We were
cool?
able to transition to the automated launch sequence operated by the core stage flight computer and the Green Run test software. They completed the terminal countdown sequence that is like the launch countdown. They also pressurized the tanks and delivered the propellant to the engines and demonstrated the performance of the core stage's main propulsion system, firing the engines at 109% power, and they operated the thrust vector control system. that
Nice.
steered the engines. So the smooth countdown so far today, and we'll keep standing by and take a pause for a moment, and we'll check back in just a few minutes.
So 540,000 gallons of liquid hydrogen is on here. 200,000 gallons of liquid oxygen. It's a lot of fuel. A lot of fuel. Oh, we got a vent. Give me that big vent. I know. Yeah, so this will be powered by 2 solid rocket boosters, and they are already built here. They're ready. They only last for so long. That's why they need to get this test done and get that rocket here, because they're going to be screwed if they don't. Like this is going to happen very fast. Getting it onto the Pegasus barge, getting it here, getting it paired up with the rocket boosters, getting it on. Well, they'll do it on the mobile launcher, right? Then bring it out to the launch pad. Huh. Yeah. Stitch, we don't need no commentary from you. Where the hell is the horn? On YouTube or outside? Stop. And I'll tell you, the media are very close. I'm very shocked at how close the media. Stitch, come here. Shush. Mike, they said when they came live, they said within the next 45 minutes, they're chilling the engines down. They got to reach a certain cryogenic temperature before they could fire. I wish they had like a gauge to let us know. Thank you, Pablo. Appreciate it. Ooh, that room is busy. Nobody working remotely there. A car horn he heard. A car horn. That's all he heard. Hey, what can I do? Go out, come back in if you froze. Oh, really? I would think I was too young for that. Too young. You could have the Boeing feed. There's a few different feed. You're gonna the SLS feed. Um, this is the NASA feed. Let me see if Stennis has one. They may.
The B1, B2 test stand that you're seeing there is a dual position vertical firing facility with the B1 side equipped for single engine tests and the B2 side designed for rocket stages. The stand is anchored to the ground with 144 feet of steel and concrete. We talked a little bit about the history of the RSD-5 engines. The B2 stand, which is where the SLS core stage is secured now, also has quite a bit of history. It was used in the 1960s to test Saturn V rocket stages that carried humans to the moon during the Apollo program, and the Space Shuttle main propulsion test article, consisting of
It has the NASA meatball in the upper right corner.
was also tested on the B2 stand. The B2 stand has been modified to test the SLS core stage for the Artemis program that will return humans to
Is that video from space? That's the only one that I see with the. This has the meatball in the upper right. This has the meatball. It's there.
In the state of Mississippi.
That's just NASA's way of watermarking their work. But this is the NASA feed. If you type NASA in the search, it should be the first one. It should, but it depends. It is the first feed. It's got the blue meatball. And I don't see another NASA feed that has it.
About the RS-25 engines. Each of the RS-25 engines is about the size of a compact car if the engine were turned on its side. Standing up, they are each 14 feet tall and 8 feet in diameter. They each weigh about 8,000 pounds. The RS-25 is designed to operate in extreme temperatures from negative 423 degrees Fahrenheit to
Nope.
6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And as Lee mentioned,
I wonder if
they
it's
test will go
Boeing's.
from
Hang on.
extreme cold to extreme hot.
It might be
When the hot gases
Boeing's.
exit the RS-25
Because I know Boeing
nozzle,
is doing it too.
they travel at 13 times the speed of sound, which is fast enough to travel from Los Angeles to New York City in about 15 minutes. The core stage itself stands 212 feet tall and at a diameter of 27.6 feet and weighs about 2.3 million pounds when loaded with propellants.
NASA and SpaceX signed a Space Act agreement in January to cooperate with how to avoid collisions with company Starlink satellites, with more than 1,200 in orbit and more to come this year. Read the highlights here. Ooh, we'll have to talk about that later. It's all about the meatball. Is it all about the meatball? Or is it all about the worm? It's the worm, y'all. Go with the worm. God bless you, Peanut. I'm looking. Which one has the engine cam? No, not that. I have no idea what you're watching. Honestly, Harry. I have no idea what feed. You have to tell me who you're watching. It should say it there.
The next major milestone coming up will be the poll for the terminal count.
Unless it's on NASA
The
TV.
last 10
Hang
minutes of
on.
the countdown. Bill, can you tell us a little bit about what we can expect to hear during the terminal count?
Yeah, so just ahead of terminal count, we'll hopefully get that call. They'll do a poll, which is all the members of the team basically get to go
Nope,
to that,
it's all the same
terminal
feed.
count sequencer. And then once we actually get into it, there's at least 500 different events that take place in that last 10 minutes. So I'll not go through each one of those with you, but there are some pretty good ones I think that highlight, kind of what the major ones should be or are. We've got to terminate the hydrogen replenish, and then we've also got to go into the hydrogen tank pre-press operations, which is where they'll pressurize the hydrogen tank. It'll start doing.
Ooh, we got water flowing.
Well. Initiate ground.
We got
units, then
water.
start supply to the CAPUs. So initially, when the CAPUs come up, they'll be running off of the helium supply. in the stand, and then it'll switch over to the engines when they come up. As part of the plus
a little
cam.
bit about what the captains are.
Yeah, so that's the core stage of auxiliary
Oh,
power.
okay.
They're variants of the ones that were flown on shuttle. The difference is that where those were hydrogen powered, these are basically run off inert gas and then into hydrogen off of the engines when they get into the plus cam. So it's basically it's basically a turbine system that spins a pump, and that pump then in turn pressurizes the oil in that system, and through a series of valves and commands, they can then go ahead and actuate the actuators and then to the engines and pitching. After that, we'll get into liquid oxygen terminate, and liquid oxygen replenish will stop that operation. And then we'll go into TAPU starts, and that's where each one of those core stage auxiliary power units will be powered up. And that takes, on the order of about 30 seconds to bring each one of those units up. They're done individually. And then they basically move into transitioning into the LOX tank pressurization operations. They do a TBC gimbal profile on helium, so that's actually something different that you won't see in the plus count. In other words, we do a lot of actuation of the TBC system in that, but we don't move it as far because of the limits we've got in the stand for how hard you're moving it relative to having the engines burn at that time. So in the pre-count, you'll basically get the full movement, the full gimbal, full displacement, and then once they get into post-count, they will not do that.
Biden's going to name Florida Senator Bill Nelson and space program champion to head NASA. What? No.
Basically, they'll go ahead and make sure the engine is ready.
Oh my God.
Start. They will then transition core stage to internal.
There goes our space program.
Redundant inertial navigation unit. They've got a gyro compass alignment that they'll finish up. And
Oh, that's cool.
When we get into the next big sequence, which is the go for the automated launch sequencer, and that will start roughly at 33 seconds.
Oh, Macon's awesome.
That's kind of the big steps that take place after that.
You need to go to the Indian mounds. Stitch, come here. They're right there in Macon.
But ahead of that, we can basically recycle that to 10-minute mark, and then it would take us probably an hour or two to get back in the position where we go through it again. But that's kind of how the day would go.
You're only about 30 minutes from some of my family.
The majority of the calls are actually going to come in the U.S. as minutes for the terminal count. And so we're waiting to hear when we are ready for the poll for the go-no.
Oh.
So we'll stand by for a little bit.
Why are they closed? Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, they said it was a leaky valve. I guess. Oh, only certain days. Oh, damn. That place is so cool. It's someplace to go back to see it then, Hoots, There you go. Yeah, I've been there a lot. I've been there a lot of times. The astronaut, the senator, Nielsen. Whatever his name is. I can't stand him. Nelson. 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 Bill Nelson, the astronaut. He's not going to do anything like Jim did. He will have that place locked down. And if that's so, I can imagine why I wasn't picked. That could be the reason. Nah, I don't care what he loved. I know I do not like him. I know his politics, and I can't stand him. Can't stand him. All right, have fun, Hoots. Awesome, Debbie. Take something. Yeti's arm hurt like a sieve yesterday. He is not working today, but he's had COVID. And he told them he hadn't had COVID. So we're going to see how he does. He was supposed to be clear of 3 months, and he's still shy of 3 months. Former astronaut Pam Melroy is being considered for Nelson's deputy, coming from a source. And it says Senate and NASA staffers who were informally briefed this week on Biden's decisions were told that a formal announcement of Nelson's nomination would come later this week. 3 sources said, speaking under a nominate. Uh, yeah. I guess it would help if I open up the Twitter feed. And here's one of Nelson's quotes. If you can't do a heavy lift rocket for 11.5 billion, we ought to close up shop.
For the Artemis 1 launch, there will be a built-in hold before the go-no-go pull to go into the terminal count for the last 10 minutes of the countdown. This isn't quite the same, but it is similar. The team takes a look at the data from the vehicle and the facility and ensures that everything looks good before proceeding into the terminal count. So we're just a little more than 10 minutes away from our T0 time now to fire up the engines. And when those engines fire up, the team is looking to get at least 4 minutes of data to support the test objectives needed to confirm that SLS is ready to launch Artemis missions. From there, they will continue to let the engines fire and to burn through all of the fuel in the tanks and possibly pick up additional data for some secondary test objectives. During launch and ascent for Artemis missions, we expect the engines to fire for about 8 minutes to drain the tanks of the propellant before what is called the main engine cutoff, or MECO. So, Bill, tell us a little bit about what we can expect after hot fire starts.
Okay, so the other thing I'd say is I'm also listening in. So if we get to the point where they're going to come to poll, I'll just tell you to pick it up at that point. But so where I left off was with the ALS start. So that's roughly 30 seconds before they actually start. We could then bring on the hydrogen burn-off igniters, which are basically a series of flares that are built into the stand to pick up any residual hydrogen and basically dissipate all that.
This rocket.
They'll finish with the renew redundant climate navigation mode. And then basically they go into, at roughly 6 minutes, they'll do the RS-25 starts. And those, they bring up one at a time. And roughly at 5-6 seconds, they'll start that. At 1 second, they'll be up to nearly 100%. And with that, I think we're getting ready to hear them go for the poll. But as they basically get through that part of it, we'll hear the basically the engines will come up to 109% thrust level.
This rocket's 800 million in bulk order, but the first ones cost roughly about $1.6 billion because of delays. And those are just estimates.
As a sequencer steps through there. Reminder to everybody, after we get past 557 and after we terminate OH2 system secure, we only have 2 minutes 35 seconds forward time before we have to recycle back. Also, a reminder to everybody, when we do the switch to internal power, we will get the Christmas tree effect on the avionics screen. So that is normal, that is to be expected. So just to remind everybody that we will get that Christmas tree effect once we go into internal power. All right, right sequencer on your command. Let's go ahead and initiate the terminal count sequencer for substep alpha and record UTC time, please. And give us UTC real quick, please. 2712.
Copy 077202712.
You copy?
Come on, baby, light them. Light it up. Yes, that was Belle. She's very vocal. 9 minutes? Is that what he just said?
All right, it sounds like we actually missed the poll, so we are in the terminal count sequence now, and we are standing by and listening as they progress through their steps.
T-minus 8 minutes.
Yeah, I just got 2 emails from YouTube. And they're both the same streams. I still have to go to Coco today. Grubhub must be desperate for drivers. $150 bonus.
T-minus 7 minutes.
And that's the turtles banging around. No, this is not in Florida. This is in Mississippi at Stennis.
And we're about 6.5 minutes.
Well, once they fire that baby, it'll be coming here to Florida. It is what it is. I got my shoes on. We got bad storms coming here today. So I think they're going to be hitting somewhere around 11 p.m. if they're still on track. Marginal risk for strong storms. We have all kinds of warnings, but we need it because we're in a fire warning day. Oh, they may be here soon. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't think they're going to hit us now. They're showing them dissipating now. Yeah. Scattered thunderstorms at 12 a.m. But I think they're just going to dissipate because it's
T-minus 5 minutes. Initiating TVC spin start.
humidity's 42%. It's windy here. But I gotta run to the Walmart in Cocoa. I gotta go pick up a printer. Titus still didn't have it, so gotta run out there. And I need paper towels. I'm out of paper
So
towels.
at this point, they basically initiated CAFU start, and basically because of them coming up on helium, they'll go into a what we call a wiggle test, which is where they'll wiggle the engines, and then so that's
Oxygen and hydrogen, the two.
just a couple of minutes. On the plus side of that, once we get into the engine starts.
Minutes, 4 minutes, CAFU starting L2 securing.
Okay, so L2 is being secured now, so that they're really moving forward in the plus here.
Yeah, so they're topping the tanks off now
Roughly at
with the locks.
And so with that, we should be seeing the TBC gimbal profile here in about half a minute or so.
All I can think about that thing that Abby showed.
The water system all turned on, which is we'll see that in some of the views, and that'll basically take care of not only the heat coming off of the engines, but also dampen the tremendous amount of noise that will be coming off. As mentioned earlier, the hydrogen burn-off igniters will come on at about 12 seconds.
T-minus 3 minutes, starting PSN 4.
The inertial navigation mode will be complete at about T-minus 10 seconds.
Yeah, this will purge the engines with nitrogen gas to ensure they are completely clean before flowing propellant, moving the engines into position for this engine start.
5 seconds to full operating pressures, and basically at that point, the stage control will be go for launch, or go for test in this case at 2 seconds, and basically we go forward into our profile for the day.
T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds pre-ignition gimbal sequence. So once we see that gimbaling, and then T-minus 1 minute 30 seconds core stage 2 internal power, 33 seconds at the ALS will take over, which is the automated launch sequence start.
So follows, they just announced at T-minus 2 minutes, which is basically they have finished the
Purge.
test.
Oh, they did the. They didn't even show it to us.
At this point, they basically are getting ready for powering up the engines.
Yeah, we got about 1 minute, less than 1 minute.
Again, core stage transitions to internal power.
Well,
30 seconds out.
yep.
1/3 switch to internal power.
Yep, there's your then we go at 33 seconds, ALS will take over. There's the rest of the deluge system as well. You got the full, all of it's running now.
T-minus 1 minute following personnel report, go, no go for ALS, AEA, TEA, go, AEA, REA, NEA, go, NTC. Vehicle and species systems are go for ALS.
Yes.
The water system has come on full bore.
Here we go. Come on.
Right, T-minus 30, we're in ALS.
ALS is taking over.
The official start of ALS.
Whoop, whoop.
Next up is the hydrogen burn-off igniters come on at 12 seconds T0.
H-boys on.
Go for engine start.
H-boys are on, and engine starts. Okay.
And all personnel. We've got engine start, and we're for the pumps count, all personnel frequencies to monitor the system, and grasp and control.
Here we go, baby. $50. I got a clock started.
Plus 50 seconds starting TBC for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Look at them engines.
Again, there's now it's got a hard capability to put in the jet. Yeah. How many do you want to hold that ATM? Cancel that? Cancel that?
2 minutes.
Yeah, and then TBC for 1 for 5.
Yeah, it looks up in the top right. You see it?
January 31st, starting FRT for 1.
Yeah, we still got a minute and 10 seconds to go. Engine 4. Same engine, too. Same engine. We need at least 4 minutes. Three and a half minutes.
And you're about 3.5 minutes into the testament.
4 minutes. It sounded like they said it's still looking good. Should have had headphones on. Yeah, amazing. Four and a half.
Give us 4 minutes, 30 seconds to shoot in the FRT for 5.
5:20. Oh yeah, most definitely.
We're just over 5.5 minutes in the plus one.
Six. 2 more minutes left.
About 6 minutes.
And if everyone remembers Trevor, Trevor is out there actually for NASA space flight, so we should get some good photography from him. $6.50. They got a violation of what?
We're coming up on 7 minutes in the plus one.
About 7 minutes.
Seven and a half.
And about 7 minutes, 37% BBC proponents.
Eight.
About 8 minutes.
Oh, they're still running?
BBC proponents.
All right, so we're just over 8 minutes into the plus one.
Damn. Cut off. Here we go.
All right. REA, like can you REA on channel 16. REA channel 16, right? Safe entry shutdown. And your shutdown standby, right? All personnel, that takes us to page 656. All personnel get to page 656 to start the post-op fire shutdown securing operations.
Page 656.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, personnel.
Bill, as you said earlier, as we talked about earlier, the team was hoping to get at least 4 minutes of data. And we
Uh-oh. And we what?
all right, they are proceeding with their shutdown procedures now. As we said earlier, the team was hoping to get at least 4 minutes of data, and they did get more than 8 minutes, excuse me. So they should have gotten what they need. The team will obviously need to look at that data, but based on what we've seen, Bill, tell us more about what it looked like to you.
Yeah, so they clearly got the full duration they were after, which is really great news. And I think you heard the applause. They had, the command to shut down, which is exactly what they were looking for. They had no TCC violations, testing and criteria violations that would have prompted an early shutdown. So that was really good news. Clearly there's a lot of data that now that's going to have to be analyzed. The engineers got to see what worked and what didn't, or what needs to be tweaked and what doesn't. But that said, I think the applause says a lot about how the team feels. They got through the test, and it looks pretty good, right? Yeah, so there was some observed burning on the aft end. One of the things that Boeing had done after the last test was to apply a lot of extra cork to the aft end because we didn't unfortunately with this test, right? We're not flying through the thin air as we ascend, and so we knew we were going to have more of that, and that was one of the reasons why they added that. They also put a tape covering over the top of that. We knew that if the tape gets hot enough, that adhesive layer below the tape surface is going to start burning them. So we clearly saw a lot of that, but there's nothing that prompted shut down early, which is really good news.
Great, thank you, Bill. I think that's all the updates that we'll have for you here as the team proceeds through their shutdown procedures. So we'll turn it back over to Lee.
Thank you, Catherine. Congratulations to the team. So as the engineers gather the data from today, we look ahead to the next steps. This
Okay, here we go.
Oops, sorry.
Sent by barge to our Kennedy Space Center in Florida. There, it will be stacked in the iconic vehicle assembly building with other elements of the SLS rocket, including the twin solid rocket boosters, which our teams have already begun stacking on the mobile launcher. The core stage and boosters will then be stacked with the upper stage and the Orion spacecraft. All of this work putting us on track to roll out to Launch Pad 39B for a liftoff later this year on Artemis 1. We've got several other firsts on the horizon. This year, the first of our commercial lunar payload services, or CLIPS missions, begin with 2 companies delivering instruments to the lunar surface. The golf cart-sized Viper rover will search for water at the moon's south pole. And a small CubeSat called Capstone will head to the moon, scouting the orbit
Correct.
to be used on later human missions.
Where's what? Columbia. Sorry.
For the next 2 Artemis
Nicole was
missions, which
texting me.
will carry astronauts to the moon is coming together. The Orion spacecraft for Artemis 2 is down at Kennedy undergoing assembly, and the spacecraft for Artemis 3, as well as the rockets for Artemis 2 and 3, are also being manufactured right now at Nishu. So that wraps it up for us here today. After a major milestone on America's return of astronauts to the lunar surface, a successful test of the core stage of the Space Launch System rocket. Up next, we'll be replaying the test.
Hang on
and
one second.
We'll have a post-test briefing in about 2 hours here on NASA television. We invite you to follow all of our progress online at nasa.gov/Artemis program, or join the conversation online with @NASA Artemis and @NASA_SLS.
Yeah,
Thank
Mississippi.
you for joining us.
Sorry.
And go Artemis.
Stennis is in Mississippi, yes. All right. Hang on, bear with me, everyone. Okay. We go. Travis, okay. Just keep in touch with me, message me or whatever. Nicole is moving back here next week. Nicole will be moving in my home. You all say a prayer for me. So she actually was just messaging me about a house that's for rent. So I'm gonna go look at it for her. And I gotta go run some errands. I have to go pick up a printer in Cocoa. Bless you, award. Thanks, Deb. Wise ass. Oh my God. And I will try to get back in time to do the post-op briefing. They said about 2 hours, right? So that would put us around 7 o'clock Eastern time, my time. I am a glutton for punishment. Shit. She found it, and I don't know where she got it from. So, oh, here it is. All right. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. All right. I know where it is. Yep. Sorry. She sent me a picture of it. I got a link. Okay. I mean, she really likes it. Her little bougie ass likes something like that. I'm actually shocked. Yeah, I guess it would be. But do you need something that big? Honestly, Pat. Honestly. You're better off buying too. Honestly. Hey everyone. All right. Travis, just let me know. I'm here. We're not going anywhere. My birthday's the 27th. I doubt we're going anywhere now that Nicole will be down. So, unless for some reason they got stimulus money that I don't know about, I have no idea what's going on. You're going to buy your house next year there. It's the best thing. But let me get out of here. I only got 2 hours. Got to go to Coco. I got to pick up my meds because I got new meds I got to go take. And yeah, stop by this place. You can. I can buy anything. You can't buy anything. Okay. Yep. I didn't get one. I cannot bring you with us. Me. Cannot. Nope. Nope. Because we have a bunch of pansy asses that report people, and I don't even want my name smudged like that because I'm driving and stuff and streaming. So no. Nope. But like I said, I got to go to Coco, and I don't have no service going through all of Port St. John. I have no service. But all right, I'll catch everyone later. I'll be back in a couple of hours. As soon as I'll update it here when I'm going to go live. So look for that to come up. All right, everyone, have a great day.